Peace and welcome back, family, for another one. Desiree Wise, your spiritual healing coach here, helping you to heal your relationship with self, to heal your relationship with all things. How are we doing? Happy Thursday. Listen, we have business to handle today. Um, wow, I feel like many of us are going through a major phase of growth and of transformation. Matter of fact, it's not even a feeling, it's a knowing, simply because all of the portals and all of the energies that we've had to mix and mingle and be entangled with over the past month, right? Starting back since the 8-8 portal. When we had the 8-8 Lionsgate portal, there was a major activation supporting our growth, our change, our evolution, our transformation, and our manifestation. Okay. And so what I realized when I did those readings is that a lot of times people can't identify the ways in which God, spirit, your higher self is actually asking you to grow, right? Is asking you to transform and evolve. Sometimes it can be hard to identify specifically what you are being asked to do in order to manifest your greatest reality, in order to experience the life you desire to experience. And so today, that's what we're going to be talking about: how to recognize when God is calling you to grow, and how to fearlessly, or not, let me not say fearlessly because sometimes fear will be present, right? But how to courageously embark on that path. Okay. That is what we have to deal with today, right? So when this 8-8 portal happened, and now we just had the blood moon, we've had very spiritually activated days, right? And times. Matter of fact, let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments if you've experienced a lot of energy during these very heightened, universally powerful spaces, like the 8-8 portal, like this 999 I just passed, like the blood moon. Let me know if you've been able to feel those activations in the comments, okay? Or in the chat. All right. But this energy has really awakened some things in us that are symbolic of where we are being asked to go. And though we are doing the rituals and the practices and all of those things, you have to be able to recognize the ways in which God is actually calling you to grow, right? Because sometimes we're just doing things from our egoic, right, pursuits. Sometimes we're doing things from what we believe will make us happy instead of the core of what our heart actually desires. Okay. So we want to be able to recognize the specific things that the Most High, God, your higher self, is asking you to evolve into. The reason why that's so important is because if we work on the things that are in alignment with our higher selves, this is how we manifest our greatest timelines. This is how we bring forth what will actually create not just happiness, which sometimes can be fleeting, but this is what creates that joy. This is what creates sustainability. This is what creates, this real internal shift that really allows us to exist from a place of peace, from a place of wholeness, and real success, right? Success that we have defined for ourselves, not the success that the world has projected on us to be what it means, okay? And so it's so important to make sure that we are aligning our spiritual work with the Most High, right? So I want to talk about how we identify those areas of growth that the higher self is asking us to move towards. Okay. The first thing that we have to know is a major sign of the higher self or God saying, okay, this is an area that you need to grow in, is our triggers, right? This is something that most of you who are on a path of self-development, growth, and healing. Most of you are already aware that whenever you are experiencing a trigger, this is a sign. This is a gift. This is God inviting you to grow in a specific area of your life. That's number one, your triggers. Whenever something happens that causes a mental, emotional, or spiritual shift inside of you, the Most High is inviting you to do some sort of work so that this energy is no longer holding you captive from your goals, your dreams, your desires, right? Because here's the reality. It is our triggers. It is the things that we have yet to heal that are actually stopping us from experiencing our heart's desires. Literally, it has absolutely nothing to do with your job. It has nothing to do with your relationship. It has nothing to do with anything outside of you. The delay to your manifestation and your heart's desires really revolves around things that you've yet, areas of your life, areas of your mind, your emotion, and your habits that you've yet to grow in, right? So our triggers come through to show us this is a space that I need to work at. Okay? That's number one. Most of you kind of already know that. So that one is kind of more obvious. If you find yourself being emotional, if you find yourself being swayed or moved by an external experience, this is an invitation to growth. Okay? And this invitation to growth literally is the gateway to opening up something else in your life. Y'all let me know in the comments if you really intrinsically and intuitively understand that concept, right? And then I'll tell you more about it, right? So, man, it gets so deep. It gets so deep in that we have these desires, we have these wants, we have things that we want to experience, right? And we may be in it. We may be literally experiencing that which we desire, but because our wounds, right? Because our traumas, because our triggers, we will talk ourselves out of this good thing. Okay? We will literally deflect, detour. We will, man, let me think of an example that I want to give y'all that's not too intimate, if you know what I mean. Wow. Let me add this in the triggers thing. Another way you know your spirit will be calling you to growth, or God is calling you to growth or expansion, is through imposter syndrome. How many of y'all have heard of imposter syndrome? How many of you actually experience or deal with imposter syndrome? Right? I'll tell you my experience. This just happened the other day. The other day, I went into a pretty lucrative, luxurious, beautiful neighborhood, right? And I was in this outdoor mall. I was at this outdoor mall that's in this beautiful area that is just abundant and prosperous, right? And so as I pull up and I park and I get out, I just start observing, right? I just start observing. And as I'm looking at the people and I'm looking at the stores, I start to ask myself, I wonder how people are seeing me in this space, right? I just start to ask myself, like, I wonder if I fit into this space, right? I wonder if people look at me and they say, yeah, this is where she belongs, right? And that question may sound crazy, but that was one of those signs where spirit was kind of telling me, like, is there a little bit of imposter syndrome happening here? Do you feel like you belong here? Do you feel like you are like like an outcast in this space. Like spirit was kind of like it was such an interesting thing where I was just like, one, why am I having these thoughts? Right? That was one. But two, spirit was reminding me like, you're already in the space, right? You're already here. What? You've done the manifestation. So why are you questioning your belongingness? And so when I had that experience, what I took it as, this was spirit letting me know that this is an area of growth for me, right? Specifically in the area of accepting the goodness that is present in my life now, right? So many times we have beautiful manifestations happening, right? I am at an outdoor mall with my two youngest children, um, literally shopping, literally going into a store, shopping, and there was still this aspect of myself that was questioning if people would find out that I was that I grew up in a broken home, that um, my parents were divorced, that I grew up in poverty, right? That like I was having these questions of, would people feel like I didn't belong in this space? And that's a part of imposter syndrome. And so I was so grateful to Spirit. I'm so grateful for those experiences because Spirit just reminds me that there's always room for growth, and there's always room for settling deeper into the manifestations and settling deeper into our heart's desires. Sometimes we could be experiencing the very thing that we desire to manifest, but because of trauma, because of triggers and imposter syndrome, we can question that. But what I want to really invite you to embrace about things like this is that these are just the moments that your higher self is giving you as an opportunity for growth. That's it. It's not a defining moment. Me having that thought, and this is the gift of this work, right? Me having that thought was not reinforcing the idea that I don't belong, right? That's not what it was. Spirit was just reinforcing this understanding of go deeper, embrace it, have more gratitude in these moments, right? Take a deep breath, breathe it all in, look around you. You are worthy. You are deserving. And so Spirit was just telling me, okay, grow more into that, right? And so I'm like, okay, I got to go more into that neighborhood. I have to spend more time out there. And I'm so excited to do it, right? I'm so excited. Matter of fact, while I was there, I had the kids outside running around. They're playing, uh, uh, they're just running in like the greenery. And it's just a beautiful thing. And we just sat out there and I just kind of reveled in that energy. And I just was like, I'm here. I'm here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't meant for me to be here. And so that's one of the ways that we can recognize Spirit calling us to grow is whenever we have imposter syndrome, right? Whenever we're in a space that we want to be in, but or whenever we've accomplished a goal that we desire to accomplish, but we have thoughts like, is it real? Am I really doing this? I'm here to tell you that you are. Before I keep going, let me say hey to all of you because I'm so grateful to have y'all here. Hey, love. Hey, Elmira. Hey, BIM 1997. I know who you are. Hey, welcome. Hey, Jenny. I'm so glad to have you here. Hey, Iman. I'm so glad to have you here. I love you. I love all of y'all. Let me not just say I love you to Iman. I love all of y'all. And I'm so grateful to share this space with y'all. Right? I'm so grateful. Man, it can bring me to tears to think about getting to do this work. Like, and that was one of the things that I thought about when I was like having this experience. Spirit was like, this is what you get to do, right? Like I get to do this. Not I have to do this. I get to do this, right? What a gift that is. Let me see these questions Dream is asking me. Was it because you are Black? There could be a little bit of that energy there. There could be a little bit of that energy there. Is white people a symbol of prosperity? You know, I was thinking about that, right? I was thinking about that as I was there because most of the people that were there were white people. There were some people that I was seeing that I could tell that were some sort of Latin American, but they probably resonate more with whiteness. I did see two beautiful Black mothers. I mean, that was so beautiful to see. I saw two Black mothers with their children. And I thought that was beautiful. But the majority of the people that were out there were indeed white people or people who could pass for being white, you know? And, you know, I was looking at everything from a holistic place. I wasn't just looking at people's skin. I was looking at what are people wearing? What are people driving? How are people walking? Like, what is their energy really speaking? And so I was really analyzing the whole thing. And I just think I'll tell you kind of the trigger that connected it for me, because that's what I want us to understand. Whenever we are in spaces or having certain conversations, I really want y'all to get this. So I'm going to try my best to explain it in the most simplistic way possible. Whenever we're having experiences or having conversations, or even when we're thinking about something in our own heads, there's always this thought that comes up immediately after we have this experience, right? So like right when I drove up into that parking lot and I'm looking for a parking spot, I start thinking to myself, I wonder if I like fit in this space. I wonder if people, when they see me, I wonder if they just, what do they see? I don't know, right? That was kind of the initial thought. And so the fact that I had that initial thought says to me, okay, Desiree, there's aspects of you that may still be looking for some sort of validation that you deserve to live the life that you're living. And that's the imposter. Do we understand? Another way to think about this, Spirit has been really working on me, which is why I'm so grateful to have this conversation with y'all. Because Spirit has been telling me that there's another layer of financial growth. Ooh, this is so good. Spirit has been telling me there's another layer of financial growth, of financial freedom that I am meant to experience. And Spirit has been telling me naturally, right? This is going to sound crazy, but I just want to help y'all to understand. I don't say this from I just want y'all to understand, right? I like nice things. I like nice things. I like quality things. And, you know, but I didn't grow up in an environment that supported that. Wow. Spirit has just been totally working on me. Spirit has been working on me with this since the blood moon. This was my revelation for the blood moon. I love to be able to share these things with y'all, right? So during the blood moon, I'm cleaning and I'm doing all of my things around the house and I'm just taking care of stuff. And I'm just thinking about my abundance, right? Like Dream and I have done enough work to where in our personal business, we sustain our life, right? Like the mortgage, the car, the kids, like the food, like all of those things, good. But, and let me not say, but let me say, and I desire more vacations. I'm talking about, I need an international trip at least once a year. And then maybe every quarter go somewhere, domestic travel, right? In the United States. And we've had 4 kids almost back to back to back to back over the last 9 years. And so we just hadn't had the ability to really do that, right? And so after we went to Miami, we experienced such love, such high vibration, such abundance, such fortune, such synchronicity, such luxury, sophistication, right? That it sparked something inside of me to where I was like, I'm supposed to be doing that more. Not even supposed to, but I need to. It's good for my spirit. It's good for my soul to travel. And listen, that's not everybody's story. I don't want us to make it seem like travel is the ultimate embodiment of luxury, right? Because what I also realize is that I have the luxury to be able to take my kids to the library once a week. I have the luxury to be able to just be out and about on a random weekday and not have to like literally be at a job. So luxury is specific to whoever you are. Do you understand? It's not just this one size fits all. The purse makes you luxury, right? The vacation makes you luxury. The house makes you luxury. Like everybody's luxury or everybody's wealth comes in different ways, right? But for me, a part of my like whole astrological chart is about travel, right? And so I travel based off of the books that I read, right? You could be reading a book that was written from like a Hindu person, and that's a form of travel, right? When I was studying Kuan Yin, that was a part of travel to Asia, but through the book. Do we understand what I mean? So when we came back from that trip, it really did something to me where spirit was like, you have to figure out a way to be able to do that more. And that means figuring out childcare for your kids, figuring out if the kids are coming too. So all of these different things. And as I was thinking about this around that blood moon time, I had a thought of how whenever I was younger and I wanted all of these nice things, right? My mother would make sure that it happened. Oh man, my goodness. My mother would make sure that it happened. I got the shoes that I wanted. I got the hairstyle that I wanted. I got the clothes that I wanted. I got all the things. But every time I did, it came with a speech. It came with a look at this level of sacrifice I had to make in order for you to get those shoes, in order for you to get that hairstyle, in order for you to get that specific outfit, in order for you to. So why am I telling you all of this? I'm telling you all of this because the triggers that will lead to your growth don't always happen by some sort of emotional experience. Sometimes it's just the trigger of a thought, right? It's the thought that comes to your mind after you think about what it is that you want that will show you this is the area that you need to grow. Let me get a yes in the comments if y'all are understanding what I'm saying to you. Triggers is not just about being emotionally, in an uproar. But what trigger? So let's think about the word trigger. Trigger means for something to be turned on, right? So like if I flip the switch on my light switch or something, it triggered the light to turn on. Do you understand? A trigger is not just about emotions. It's about what happens after you do something. What happens after you have a certain experience. So I'm cleaning up my house during this blood moon time. And I'm thinking about, okay, what's going to be Dream and I's next vacation? And God is so good. When I tell you God is so good, I got so much to share with y'all. I'm like on fire right now. As you are thinking about the desires of your heart, the goals, the manifestations, there's going to be thoughts that are triggered as you are contemplating that thing. And so for me, God has just been lining it up for me to see different things, for me to understand areas that I need to grow in order to bring forth the desires of my heart quicker, right? And so I'm thinking about, okay, I need more vacations. I need more travel. I need more one-on-one time with Dream. I need that because it turns something on inside of my being. It does something to my soul. You know what I mean? And so when I was thinking about that, the first thought that came to my mind was, what do I have to sacrifice in order to get that? And when that thought was triggered, Spirit said to me, that's the thing that you have to grow in. Spirit said to me, that's a cord or a connection. That abundance means sacrifice, right? That's the thing that has to be transformed in order for more abundance to flow easily, right? And so here's what I want you to understand. As you are thinking about what it is you desire, Spirit is going to show you the thing that is delaying or slowing down that manifestation. And Spirit will also give you wonderful opportunities to work through it. Right? So immediately that night when I had that thought, and Spirit, because your mother and your father. See, I had a twofold experience. One hand, I always got what I wanted. So naturally, I know that I can have what I want, right? Like it may be a problem, right? For some people, it may be a problem for my husband because when I want something, I know that I'm going to get it, right? I know that I'm going to get it. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of moving things around. It's a matter of whatever. But what Spirit wants me to grow in right now is understanding that nothing has to be sacrificed. No one has to be sacrificed. I don't have to sacrifice in order to get what it is that I want. But that's a lesson that I had learned from my mother. Yeah, I had to move all of this stuff around to make sure you got that thing. I was going to make sure every day y'all went to school with $5 every day, right? How much money y'all used to go to school with for lunch? Did y'all take lunch money to school or did y'all bring y'all lunch to school? Y'all let me know in the comments. What about y'all? Did y'all parents used to give y'all lunch money? My mom was a single mom of three. And every day, she sent us to school with lunch money. But she never, right? She didn't ever not tell us how hard she had to work to do it, right? And on one hand, I respect it because she was instilling in us that you can have whatever it is that you want if you're willing to work for it. But how many of you know that can become a limiting belief? That can become a limiting belief to think that you have to work so hard, you got to sacrifice in order to have what you want. I was so grateful Spirit showed me that. And so immediately, and this is something that I want to give y'all, as you are contemplating what it is you desire and the ways in which Spirit is asking you to grow in order for you to have that thing, right when you realize it, I want you to immediately do some sort of release ritual. I want you to immediately do something to help you to begin purging that belief or that emotion from your system. So immediately that night, I wrote out this elaborate prayer to myself, and really just this surrenderance of like, nothing has to be sacrificed for me to live my most luxurious life, right? um I don't have to, there doesn't have to be this energy of breaking your back in order to get what it is you desire. And so I wrote out this whole thing of me saying, I release that cord. I release that connection to my mother and how she raised me to believe, uh, um, as far as like how I get what I want. I released the cord to my father, who I grew up feeling like didn't make sacrifices to make sure I have what I want. And of course, have what I need, right? So whenever you're doing this and you recognize some sort of trigger that is standing in the way of your goals, immediately write it out, purge it out, burn that thing, cut that thing up, throw it away. Do something that helps you to begin to release that program. Okay. And then the next thing after that, though, is recognize when God is giving you, or your higher self is giving you opportunities to exercise this new wisdom, this new insight, this new state of being, right? And so for me, when I was out at the little outdoor mall that's so beautiful, actually, I'm going to go back there. Probably going to end up going back sometime next week or something. Thinking about taking the kids out there at least once a week, letting them just run around with other kids, kick some balls, and sit down with other stay-at-home moms, right? Like just enjoy that life, right? I really need to do that more. So recognize when spirit is giving you an opportunity to work on those triggers. Okay. Put a check in the chat if we are picking up what I'm putting down for number 1 and 2. You will know when spirit is inviting you to grow, when God is inviting you to grow based off of triggers. You'll be doing something, maneuvering, thinking about a desire that you have. Like literally, if a limiting belief pops into your head when you're thinking about all that you desire, that is an invitation to growth. And when I tell you, it happens across every area of your life. You may want to start getting into fitness and you're like, okay, when am I going to start exercising? Right when you start thinking about your trauma, your trigger comes into your mind and it's like, oh, but you don't have the time to work out. Oh, but you don't have a gym membership. You don't even have weights at home. Once all of that stuff starts coming in, that's a trigger. That's your higher self giving you the opportunity to say, deal with this so that you can invite this in. Okay. I got one check from Elmira. What about the rest of y'all? Are we picking it up? We got to be picking it up. Okay, look, I don't want to let this time go by without also talking about the craziness. First of all, okay, so I'm sure y'all seen that guy get shot. I hate talking about things like that, but it was so traumatizing to see. Did y'all see that? Oh my God. Like, what is this? Is this like Grand Theft Auto in real life? Is this like Call of Duty in real life? Oh my God. You know, I was thinking about it this morning before I was about to go live, and I was like, what a crazy. Elmira, good job. Don't watch it, okay? Don't watch it. And first of all, Elmira, your picture here on YouTube is just gorgeous. I love the smile, the green, the lipstick. You look beautiful. Love to see it. Okay. You know, rest in peace to that brother. I've never followed that guy's work. I don't really partake in like the political conversations and things like that, just because it's just way too much, right? But somehow that just ended up on my, well, we know how it ended up on your timeline. That's how they do. They push all of these things. And when I was sitting here this morning about to go live and thinking about today is 9/11, and when we think about the ritual of 9/11 in the experience that happened in New York, 2001, I think about how this energy is so convoluted and it is so heavy, you know? And so I just want to send out love and energy to all of you who will make contact with this video and those of you who are here right now, and just reinforce this holistic energetic covering over yourselves, because that experience, and then us knowing that today is 9/11 and knowing that America commemorates this day. I mean, when will we be done commemorating this day? Will it ever stop? Okay. Will it ever stop from us having to constantly reiterate the trauma of that day? I mean, I can only imagine what's happening in the schools right now, you know? But here's what I want to give you on today that is very sacred in my heart. And that is my uncle's birthday is today. My uncle passed away when I was a kid, probably 6 or 7. Man, he passed away, I believe, at 33. Christ consciousness. I actually turned 33 in a little bit less than a month. And my uncle was an angel on earth, which is why I believe he passed away at 33. He was Jesus consciousness in the flesh. His birthday is today. And I'm gonna make sure I call my dad. I don't even want to imagine. Thank you, Spirit, for constantly covering and protecting my brothers, my siblings, because a sibling is so sacred. My uncle, my dad, this was his younger brother. I mean, I gotta call my dad today. But today is his brother's birthday. And so while a lot of people are focusing on 9/11, I like to focus on the energy of my uncle. And I want to share with you some of the beautiful lessons that I learned from knowing him, but also some of the beautiful lessons that I learned from hearing about him. Okay. First of all, his name was Gail. And my uncle Gail was the most gentle spirit. And so, my mother and my father, they had a toxic relationship, right? They had a toxic relationship. And my uncle always did his part to mellow that energy out. It was like anytime my uncle came around, my mother and my father, whatever they were beefing about, they had to let it go because this angel was in front of them. This high vibrational being was in front of them. And I remember my mom at the funeral standing up and speaking. Right? My mom is speaking at her ex-brother-in-law's funeral. And she says, she basically is saying, like, y'all know me and my ex-husband, okay, we be going back and forth, just in that energy. But whenever Gail came around, it was like that energy would just naturally dissipate. He would make sure that we found a certain level of peace just for the kids. So what I give you today in honor of him is the power of finding peace that surpasses all understanding, finding peace in the middle of chaos, finding peace in the middle of hardship, right? I don't know what space and place you may be in, But realize that you have a certain level of consciousness inside of you. You have the Christ energy that dwells inside of you, that has the power to dissipate anything around you that is not in the highest vibration. I give you that today. And I encourage you to own that today, no matter where you find yourself at, right? Another thing that I honor about my uncle's spirit and his Christ consciousness goes back to what we were talking about when it comes down to travel. My uncle was a nomad, right? In a time where that was kind of rare. He would actually have been in his 50s today if he would have, lived. But he was a Black man that was traveling internationally by himself. By himself, right? And he blessed me so much, spiritually speaking, all right? One of the first places that I traveled to internationally by myself, traveled internationally to go play volleyball was Germany, right? I went to Germany by myself to play volleyball. What a crazy experience that was, right? But I remember being on the train in Germany on my way to a grocery store, and I got the train ticket in my hand. Matter of fact, I saved this train ticket for this very reason. I got this train ticket in my hand, and I'm really realizing that I'm in Germany. And it just hit me that Germany was one of the places that my uncle loved to travel to by himself, right? He actually ended up finding him a German girlfriend. And when I thought about that, when I think about how am I in Germany? My mother never traveled anywhere internationally. My father didn't do international travel until he became an adult. And I'm traveling to Germany by myself at 19. Right? So I wasn't 19. I was like 20. At like 20. And so I'm like, the only way something so magical like that could happen is if I have divine spiritual support putting me in that place and space. Because the people closest to me weren't in that type of consciousness. But my uncle was, right? And so I say that to you to say, also know and trust and understand that you have spiritual support, divine support. Those people who have made the transition are guiding you, are supporting you, right? Those people who are no longer in your life because they've, passed on. Know and understand that they are supporting you on your path in order for you to get to where you got to go. Me going to Germany set me up to be doing what I'm doing now. I'll tell y'all an experience, right? So it cost, right? It cost to travel internationally. And I didn't know how I was going to do it, right? I didn't know how I was going to make it happen. I had to pay a few $1,000s. Mind you, like I said, I was only 20 years old, just graduated from college. And this team was like, if you can get out here, we got a spot for you on the team, but you got to get out here, right? And so I was grinding, I was working at Papados, right? And this was my first time ever coming in contact with an oracle. And so this tall Black woman, she was like albino. She was an albino Black woman, super tall. I opened the door for her because I'm a host, and she stops me. She says, wherever you've been trying to go and travel is going to happen. Don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, thank you. She was like, yeah, I'm an oracle, and, Spirit of God just wants me to share this message with you. And I'm just listening. And she's like, the travel that you're trying to do is going to happen. She basically said, she told me that my uncle was a part of that process. He was spiritually supporting me and going. And then she was like, and she said this to me. She said, you're going to be on TV one day. She said, yeah, you're going to be doing something where you're speaking, you're talking, you're helping people. She said, but just get ready for that. Like, that's going to happen for you. and I did. Right here on this good old YouTube. And I still don't have no doubt in my mind that I will be, somewhere else beyond YouTube, right? Still doing work like this. So I say all of that to say on this 9/11, trust that peace is yours. If you choose to have it, you can. Um, Trust that there are spirit guides and ancestors that are so invested in helping you get to your heart's desires. There are spirit guides and ancestors that are so invested in making sure that you experience the fruitfulness of this life, but also making sure that you fulfill your purpose. Okay. And that's what I honor in this 9/11. I'm not, those towers that fell down and the lives that were lost. I empathize um, and I hope that those souls that were lost in that experience have been able to transition peacefully. But I think this constant reiteration of 9/11 keeps those souls trapped, and it keeps the families of those people whose lives were lost. It keeps them in a cycle of not really being able to heal and let go. So you all being spiritual people, use this 9/11 to think about that. All right. Another way that you can recognize that your spirit team or God is actually calling you to grow is by leaning into your desires, your yearning, your inspiration. When God gives you an inspired thought, when your higher self says, you can do this, right? When your higher self says, I need you to create that book or write that movie or teach this class, that's an invitation to growth. Because when it is time for us to do something like that, and we have that desire, we know that it doesn't just come just because we want it, right? That's not how manifestation happens. Manifestation happens by aligning with the desire, by aligning with the goal, right? And that alignment takes growth. That alignment takes work. That alignment happens by choosing your actions, your thoughts, your words, choosing things that are on the same frequency of that which you desire. So anytime you have a desire, it's an invitation to growth. Anytime you have a yearning, anytime there's something inside of you that is craving for more, your spirit team, God, the Most High, is like, yes, you can have it. Yes, it's yours. Let's grow into it. Okay. And then more than just a desire, right? You are being invited to grow anytime you are being asked to create a certain reality for yourself. Right? Like, so here's an example. I'm going to tell y'all this right now because I know I'm doing this. I can tell you this. I'm teaching a class at the beginning of October. It's a birthday class, right? I'm teaching a birthday class at the beginning of October. It's going to be, do I want to tell y'all the name of it right now? I don't know if I want to tell you. Do I want to tell y'all the name of it right now? I don't know if I want to tell you the name of it right now, but ladies, get ready. Ladies, get ready. I am teaching a class. I got to tell y'all, I don't have to tell y'all the name, but I'm going to tell y'all the date that is happening. The class will actually be taking place on October 11th, and today is 9/11. You want to know why that's so divine? I'm going to show y'all why that's so divine. Right? Look at my little journal here. I wrote little notes, right? I wrote little notes on my journal. Excuse my handwriting. I was just writing quickly, right? Number 3, it says synchronicities right there. Number 3, that says synchronicities. If you can tell, you probably can't tell because my handwriting is looking a little crazy, but it says synchronicities, right? And the reason why I put that there is because one of the ways you know God is inviting you to grow, and one of the ways that you can recognize that is if you start to pick up on your synchronicities, right? So whenever you're seeing 1111, whenever you're seeing 333, 222, or a synchronicity like what I just said right now, in exactly 1 month from today, ladies, we will be in class, right? That's the synchronicity. That is absolutely a synchronicity that I just started to talk to y'all about the class that we're going to be having for the ladies. And that class will be on October 11th, and today is 9/11. Is that coincidence that we're deciding to have this conversation right now? Y'all let me know in the comments. It's not. That's called synchronicity. That's called alignment. That's called divine timing. That's called, okay, you're on the right path, right? So even when we have experiences like that, that is an invitation to grow, right? Because at the end of the day, anything that you desire to have, anything that you want to do. So for example, me teaching that class is not me desiring to have anything. It's an inspired thought, right? It's an inspired thought. It's like, okay, so the class that we're going to teach, I'm going to tell y'all what it is. The class that we're going to have, I'm going to tell y'all what it is because I want y'all to get excited about it with me because I'm super excited about it. I'm naming the class something like this, right? Something like the art of softness, a spiritual perspective, right? Something in that realm, right? It's going to have to do with softness, right? And the reason why we got to talk about that, ladies, is because I've been hearing so much about softness, softness, softness. And many people are thinking softness is about a man taking care of you. Or softness is about how much luxury you have been able to obtain, right? How many purses you have, how many shoes you have, the aesthetic of your house, that's softness, right? That's what people are thinking. Or people are thinking softness is how you aesthetically keep up with yourself. Is your hair done, your nails done, your lashes done? That's softness. That's not softness. That's not softness. But the real essence of softness can support in the manifestation of a man who's ready and willing to take care of you and love you. And I don't just mean financially, but who wants to care for you holistically. The essence of softness can bring more luxury into your life, right? More travel, more whatever, the house, whatever. The essence of softness can add value to your aesthetic and how you look visually. But those things are not softness. And so I was having conversations, actually shout out to Jenny who was just in the comments. I don't know if you're still here. But when we were in Miami, we were sitting down talking about feminine energy and softness. And when we were talking about it, it sparked something in my mind like, oh my God, I have not talked in detail. Hey, Jenny, I have not talked in detail about the essence of softness, where that actually comes from, what that actually is, right? And so we're going to be talking about that on October 11th as a form of celebrating my 33rd birthday, but also because I just know that it is something that women really need to understand. And yeah, and so it's like, it started in Miami where I had the thought, and then as some time passed over the last 3 weeks, Spirit has just been on me like, teach the class, teach it, give it, give it, give it, give it up, right? And so I feel inspired by that. And that inspiration, that fire that is in my heart is an invitation to grow. Because guess what? I can't just teach the class just because I'm thinking about it. Just thinking about it isn't how it's going to happen, right? I got to lay out the whole thing. I got to plan out the marketing. I got to plan out my emails. I got to plan out the content. I got to plan out, how I'm going to put it out there. I got to structure how I'm going to deliver the message. That takes work, y'all. I'm not just going to show up, turn on the camera. All right, this is how softness works. No, because I understand that if I'm going to do something, I want what I do to actually be impactful and influential. 1111, y'all put y'all 1111s in the comments, right? Again, synchronicities. When we're seeing things like 1111, when things are just adding up, when you're receiving confirmations, this is an invitation to grow closer and closer in alignment with the heart's desires. So when we're seeing 1111, when we're seeing 1212, when we're seeing these numbers, it's not for you to just be like, "Ooh, thank you, Spirit, I see you, yay." Of course, do that. Have that gratitude, right? Have that gratitude. But in the same breath, ask yourself, ask Spirit, what are you inviting me to do? Ask yourself, Spirit, I see this 1111. I see this confirmation of this class that I'm going to be teaching. I see you, God. I see myself showing up in all of these different reflections, in all of these synchronicities. I see it. In what ways do I need to continue evolving and expanding to welcome more of this energy into my life? In what ways do I need to continue to purge, release, embody, embrace in order for me to have more of that of which I desire? Right? So I just wanted to tell y'all those 4 things. If you can recognize these 4 things, you will be on a path to great growth and evolution and manifestation. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, I done just told y'all so many things, about myself and the ways in which I'm being asked to grow, right? So pay attention to those triggers. It's an invitation to growth. Pay attention to those things that feel inspiring. I've been reading this book. I recommend it to all of my ladies. I got this book. I think I kind of told y'all about this the last time I went live. But when we were leaving the airport, again, this is why travel is so important, because as you travel, even if you travel to a new location in your city, as you travel, this was so good. As you travel, certain dormant thoughts, certain things that were turned off in your being get turned on because you are in a new location. And that new location is inspiration, right? That new location starts to have you thinking new thoughts, right? So we're leaving Miami. And I get a book because I want to read on the plane, and I'm not like the audio books. Audible is not my thing for whatever reason, right? I need to learn to have it to be my thing, but for right now, it's not. I like the physical copy. So I get this book called Successful Women Think Differently. Successful Women Think Differently by Valerie Burton. Get that book, ladies. Great book. I'm only on like chapter 4 or something like that, but it's been great so far. It's been activating a lot of things. And so I'm reading the book in the airport. And as I'm reading some of the first few pages, just the introduction, it triggers emotion in me. I'm like almost about to cry just from reading the introduction of this book. And that's when I was like, okay, this book is for me. I got to keep reading it. And so as I'm reading the book, I'm getting inspired more and more and more. That inspiration is not happenstance, right? We're not supposed to feel something and then just sit on it. Feel something and just be like, oh, well, that felt good. Cool. No. Whenever you feel something, a yearning, a desire, inspiration, that is an invitation to take steps in the direction of whatever that feeling was triggered by. Okay? As you start to see your synchronicities, move, act on it. And then the last thing, this was so good, I'm going to say this again, imposter syndrome. If you start to feel like you are an imposter in your own beautiful life, your spirit team is saying you need to grow more in feeling, not even just feeling, but accepting that you are deserving of it. Like you may know it, right? Logically, mentally, you may be able to fathom, okay, I'm deserving of this thing. But have you really deeply accepted it? Right? And so those are the 4 things that over the last few weeks, the last 3 weeks, I've been able to recognize are invitations to growth. And I just hope that this supports you on your path, right? Whenever you feel any of these things, don't be like, damn, why am I feeling this way again? Shit, why is this? Why am I feeling undeserving? Why is this imposter here? Why did I let my husband or my wife or my children trigger me? When we see it that way, we're seeing it from a limiting perspective. So I invite you to see those experiences as an opportunity for growth instead of shame. Don't be ashamed for still having certain feelings. Don't be ashamed for being triggered. Don't be ashamed for being inspired and not taking action. Shame is not going to get you anywhere but stuck in a repetitive cycle. All right? It's an opportunity for growth. That's my message for y'all today on this lovely 9/11. Be at peace. Know that you are divinely supported. There are angels all around you, angels and spirit guides who are literally clearing your path so that you can actually experience the life you're meant to experience. Okay? I love you all. I appreciate you. Class is going to be on October 11th. Stick around as we lead up to that. Get excited about it. I'm excited about it. Matter of fact, I want y'all to spread the word. Like whenever it drops, tell your friends, tell your sisters. This work that we do is not just for the quote unquote spiritual, right? This work is for the Christian, the Muslim, the Hindu woman, the atheist woman, the whatever you do, whatever you believe in. This work is just really about aligning more closely with that energy and trusting yourself and giving yourself grace. And so we're going to be talking about that for the rest of this month, leading up all the way until October 11th. I'm going to be super excited to have y'all there. Thank you, Iman, for the love. I appreciate you. Thank you, sis. I got to get your name. I can't be calling you on here BIM 1997, right? I got to get your name. Tell me your name because I know you done been in classes. Okay. Thank you, Jenny, for the book recommendation. Check out High Functioning by Dr. Judith Joseph. It's helping me go deeper into childhood healing. I love that. I love that. Share all of that good stuff. I've been watching all of her videos and it really helped me. Thank you for suggesting that book. I love it. I love it. Of course, got to suggest the good stuff. Can't keep the good stuff to yourself. What type of life is that to live? Okay. All right, guys. Peace and love. I'm excited to continue these conversations. Stay tuned. More new content is coming, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.